All right, so now we're going to move on to briefly talk about altruism and helping behavior. This one should be pretty short. So, one of the things that we find is that even though for a good chunk of the social psychology lecture, we have seen we've seen a lot of negative sides of human behavior. We do occasionally behave in pro-social ways. So think about very recent events. So outreach for hurricanes like Hurricane Harvey down in Texas, Hurricane Irma from Florida, Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, and caring for others during the holiday season and donations to charities and things like that. These are what are known as pro-social behaviors. This is when we provide assistance to others, we do favors for others, or we cooperate with other people. So, what sort of factors affect whether or not we help others? So, there are some people out there that believe that for our survival as a species, altruism makes absolutely no sense, especially for people that are people that we've never met. So when I give to a charity, generally I do not know the people that those funds will be going to. So technically, this is contrary to my survival as part of the species because I am providing time, money, energy, resources to somebody who will potentially never help me back. Um, so there are some that argue that it's contrary to our survival. But that's not entirely true. In general, we're a lot more likely to help out family than not. And generally, we tend to find that when we help our family, they're going to be more likely to protect us, to look out for us. And it's also going to strengthen that bond that aided our survival. So oftentimes we will find that this being kind to others, being good to others, is not necessarily in conflict with our survival that occasionally requires selfishness. And we do tend to find that we are more likely to help in situations where we think that somebody might help us in the future. So, for example, helping hurricane survivors. Generally, here in Missouri, we're never going to have to worry about a hurricane, but we do have other natural disasters to look out for. And even if I don't necessarily know any of those people that are involved in that particular natural disaster, I help because I can imagine what it would be like to be in those person's shoes. And I know that I would certainly want that help. And the idea is that sometimes we help because we feel that in the future, maybe someone will help us too. The other thing that will affect whether or not we help other people is whether or not there are bystanders. So, one of the things that we find is that when a lot of other people are around us, we're actually going to be less likely to help. And a lot of this research has been conducted by Darley and Latan, who would create these situations where somebody uh, in cahoots with the experimenter would basically fall on a street and see if other people would actually help this person who had fallen. And generally, Darley and Latane found that we are typically a lot less likely to help people when others are present. And their reasoning for why this happens is because if there are other people around, it's not just your responsibility. Somebody else can do it. But if you're the only one around, the responsibility to help solely falls on you. And we do tend to find that people are a lot more likely to help when there are fewer people around because that responsibility is solely on you. In addition to the fact that we consider whether or not we are the only ones responsible, we do weigh other factors. Is there a risk of helping somebody? Will you get hurt if you try to help somebody? Is this person deserving of my help? And additionally, will I be recognized if I'm helping? So these are some other factors that we tend to weigh in with. So that's really all I had. Be sure to look at this chapter in your notes, and I will see you all tomorrow.